So my name is Bobby Goodrow. I head up sales and marketing, and I'm somewhat involved with the product strategy for Activator Dealer Solutions. And so the topic today, and I kind of like that, equity or customer marketing 2.0. So we might take that, right? But it's really about thinking beyond equity, but it's really rethinking your marketing really for new and used and in service. And it's all really starts and ends with loyalty, and it all really starts and ends about how can you as a dealership today and in tomorrow attract, engage, and convert more customers? How do we think about going beyond just the calculation and an offer, right? And how do we create more? How do we help you create better? How do we help you create stronger connections that create value and loyalty? Because those things are synonymous, right? You can't really have you can't have loyalty without value, and it's hard to measure the value if you don't have the loyal customers. So now we kind of start digging into kind of this current environment, the current situation that we're in. And traditionally, right, if you're not familiar with it, right, the whole concept here was to educate a customer on if they're in equity before they might be ready or before they actually knew it was possible, right? That was the point, right? You have equity in your car, you can flip the keys and get something newer, shinier at a similar or maybe even a lower price. And then behind that started to come a lot of emails, a lot of direct mail that started to flood mailboxes. And then as it became ubiquitous in the space, it started to add to what we refer to as kind of just the noise, right? And so what worked in all of our favor, right, almost overnight could start working against us, right? And then I think the inventory shortage that hit us well over a year ago, I think forced, at least speaking for ourselves here, forced us to look at and consider things a little differently. Ultimately, we're suggesting to take a more holistic approach to the whole process of sales and service marketing, right? So it's about building value, and it's about and understanding that, right, is building a connection that someone views as valuable, right, is going to take more than a 30-day cycle in a general offer, right? To actually engage somebody through a journey from sales to service to upgrades to everything else in between is going to require a more robust and holistic approach than is often available right now. Number two is we believe that dealers can do so much more beyond creating just general awareness around the ability to upgrade. That's important. That's the message that's going to get somebody's attention. But then what do you do after you have their attention and they're not ready to convert at that moment in time? We believe that dealers can do so much more and should also demand more of their partners. And so a few considerations around that, right? We like to say, meet your customers wherever they are in their journey, because they are someplace, right? They're somewhere in that journey, and find them and engage with them the right and the most appropriate way. And the message that you're sending when you're attempting to do that, that matters, right? And I'm a big analogy metaphor guy, but I'm trying not to use too many of them here. But I mean, if you think if you're going to throw a pass to somebody, that person they need to know it's coming and they need to be ready to catch it, right? And I think the final point to that is how, save for that, how else can you maintain and keep customers engaged through what's eventually going to be longer process with pre-orders? How do you keep them engaged and remembering you when they're not ready to transact, or when they might have another 9 to 12 months before they need to come in for their regular scheduled service? There's these key areas here that I just want to try to hopefully tie all of this back to, right? So when you're thinking about what the system can do and should do, right, from a flexibility standpoint, what we mean by that is, are you able to, introduce new and unique campaigns that really are designed to build deeper engagement to ultimately get higher conversions that are measured? We're investing heavily ourselves into modernizing the tech that's supporting this behind the scenes, right? It's, we are taking data from multiple sources, whether it's DMS, enriched data, equity data calculations, and really wrapping that around the ability for the system to learn and react. And what that does is it creates automatic categories of customers. It automates the qualifying and prioritizes customers and leads. And really what maybe HubSpot or an Act-On or Salesforce Marketing Cloud has been doing for B2B and B2C businesses for years. We want to be able to do the same thing for dealerships. And for that, right, that leads into the ability to have better engaged customers, right? These trigger customer-focused campaigns that are wrapped around relevant content, and that have the ability to toggle between the time-based stuff that's required, right, as well as the behavior-based stuff that only a modern system can understand and react to. I hope I was able to kind of paint a good picture in terms of, you know, the opportunity on where equity and customer marketing can go, because that's where it's headed, and how you can support that with better tech. And ultimately from a, you know, how do we help attract, how do we engage and convert more customers?